You're watching Study with Sudhir. My name is T.S. Sudhir. We are looking at explanation video number 5. This is the final explanation video as far as Act 5, the concluding act of the Tempest is concerned. We'll also be looking at the epilogue. Now, we'll come to the epilogue a little later, but before that, the last bit of Prospero's dialogue as far as the Tempest is concerned. So, in that sense, Tempest is Prospero's play. He is the protagonist of the play and he has the final word. He has the last word. So, he says, once Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo have exited the scene, as we saw in explanation video number 4, and he has in that sense also forgiven Caliban despite his evil ways, despite the fact that he does not approve of what all Caliban did. Prospero says, I invite your highness, referring to Alonso, and your entire team, your entire entourage, to my little room, the cave that he lives in, and you can actually sleep here tonight. But for this evening at least, I will actually tell you stories to let the time pass away quickly. You know, for this one night, which part of I will waste with such discourse as I not doubt shall make it go quick away, right? I will narrate the story of my life, what all happened in the last 12 years, ever since he was overthrown from the dukedom of Milan and came and landed on this particular remote island along with his daughter Miranda. I will narrate the story of my life and give you all the details that happened to me since I first came onto this island. I will bring you to your ship and so to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of these our dear beloved solemnized. So he says, in the morning, that is tomorrow morning, I will take you to your ship and we will sail to Naples, right, where I'll hope to see this lovely couple married, that is Ferdinand and Miranda. And after that, I will retire to Milan. I will retire to Milan, where I will actually think about my death. Thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave. That every third thought that comes to his mind will be that of his death. So, now this is important because just as we saw in Act 4, right, this is another instance of Shakespeare hinting at the end of his innings as the most celebrated playwright, right? So this is yet another instance which makes us feel that it is Shakespeare who is speaking through Prospero. Okay, so if you get a question as to, and this may not be a 15-mark question, it could be a 6-mark question or a 5-mark question in section B, as to give instances where this could be seen as a personalized kind of dialogue by William Shakespeare through Prospero, you need to refer to this one and before that the piece of dialogue in Act 4, right? So these two pieces of dialogue extremely important for Shakespeare using the Tempest to kind of convey his own feelings to the audience at large, right? Alonso, I long to hear the story of your life which must take the ear strangely. So he says, I'm absolutely keen and dying to hear your life story, which definitely, going by whatever has happened here in the last 3 hours, must be a very strange kind of a story. Prospero says, I will tell you everything, I will deliver all, and I promise to give you calm seas, you know, unlike the tempest which they encountered before they landed on this island. And he says, I promise to give you calm seas and favorable winds, auspicious gales, and sail you so expeditions that shall catch your royal fleet far off, so that you will be able to catch up with the Royal Navy which has already left. Remember, we read before that the rest of the ships had already gone back to Naples. So you will be able to catch up with them. So I will give you such favorable winds. He's so confident about his magical powers even now. So and then he says to Ariel, right? The relationship between Ariel and Prospero, to my mind, is one of the very interesting aspects as far as the Tempest is concerned. And towards the later part of the Tempest, they seem to kind of enjoy each other's company. Ariel liking to do things for Prospero, of course, with the vested interest of wanting to secure his freedom as soon as possible. And he is also being rather indulgent and nice to him in the last part of the play, especially Act 5. So he says, my Ariel, chick referring to, you know, almost like my baby, that job is for you, and that you will be free after as the heir. So once you have given it the favorable wind so that it can go back fast to Naples, you will be a free spirit, right? Free spirit. Okay. Farewell, please, all the rest of you come closer, right? So with that, the play ends and says that that's it, Ariel has been set free. Once he does this last task given to entrusted to him, after that all be with him, may all of you come closer, because he now wants to tell the story of whatever happened over the last 12 years. Now then comes the epilogue, where he is addressing the audience and he is speaking to them not as an actor, okay, Prospero, not as an actor who has just performed his part, but as the character of Prospero. It's not the actor who is playing Prospero, but the character of Prospero, and he is talking about a future that lies beyond the stage and beyond the world of the play, The Tempest. Okay. So he says, now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is most faint. Now it is true, I must be here confined by you or sent to Naples. So he says, now my spells are all broken, and the only power that I have now is my own, not the magical powers that he possessed, and that is very weak. My own powers are actually very weak. So now you all have got the power to keep me prisoner right here, right? Or you could send me off to Naples, right? Please don't keep me here on this isolated, deserted island with your magical spells. So he's telling the audience, right? Okay, release me so that I can return to my dukedom of Milan. Please help me do that. Okay, since I have my dukedom got, and pardon the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell, but release me from my hands with the help of your good hands, right? Then he says, the gentle wind you blow with your applause will fill my ship's sail. So he's almost, acknowledging, and there is a sense of gratitude towards the audience. Without applause, my plan to please you has failed. So he's seeking recognition and applause from the audience which has come to see the play. And I have no spirits, now I have no spirits to enslave, no magic to cast spells, and I will end up in despair unless I am relieved by prayer, which wins over God himself and kind of pardons and absolves all sins, right? So he says, just as you would like to have your sins forgiven, indulge me, forgive me, set me free, right? So the element of forgiveness, the element of the fact that he is no longer having the magical power, so he is seeking the strength of the audience in the form of an applause, so that can act as a momentum for him to leave this deserted island and go back to Naples. So he is kind of talking to the audience in that sense. So the epilogue, what you need to know about the epilogue is that it is Prospero's appeal to the audience to release him with the help of their applause from the imaginary world that he had created on that island. It's an illusion of sorts which he had created with the help of the power of his magic, right? Also, at another level, it could be a third instance of Shakespeare speaking, because he wants to kind of leave the world of the stage, and he's thankful to the audience. He's actually thanking the audience for all the love and recognition that they have given him all these years. And he says, if you will applaud, it will help me leave this world of the stage and go over to yet another world. So there is Prospero speaking, it's also William Shakespeare speaking, right? So many critics believe a lot of what Prospero says in The Tempest is actually Shakespeare speaking. So that's an important aspect as far as The Tempest is concerned. So Prospero says his power is gone, his strength is very weak right now, and he's asking the audience to clap, which in a sense will create the momentum, create the winds, create the kind of ability in order to propel the sails of his ship that will carry him to the kingdom of Naples, where Ferdinand and Miranda will get married. And he says their applause, the applause of the audience, will actually break the imaginary magical spell that the Tempest has created. It's a long play, right? 5 acts, and at the end of the thing, there is a kind of a spell that the audience could well be under, and that will be broken, and that will, once they applaud, that will carry him back to the real world of Naples, and that is symbolic of the real world of the audience, because once the audience claps, that means they are also no longer under the magical spell that William Shakespeare had cast on them through The Tempest, and they will be transported back to their own real world. So that's the meaning of the epilogue. That's what the epilogue seeks to kind of convey. he has led many years a lonely life as on the island. He's no longer the powerful magician that he was all these years. He's just another ordinary man with normal human strength. So the magician is now relying on the mercy of the audience and God, and he makes an appeal to the audience to pray for him to God, so that he can kind of now lead a normal life. And as we have already seen, that every third thought he believes will be that of death. So that's as far as the Tempest is concerned. I hope it's all very clear. We will continue to do different videos and also some live sessions for students who are interested on different aspects of the play, themes of the play, how to approach an answer, how to approach different character analysis. Because if you are able to do the Tempest well, trust me, 50 out of 80 marks are yours for the taking. They are there in your pocket. So I would strongly urge you not to kind of detest Tempest or to do percentage study as far as the Tempest is concerned. But if you attempt the 2 questions in section A and 2 questions in section B, your 50 marks will be guaranteed, and then you can actually afford to do only 1 prose and 1 poem. Even that will be a good strategy, entirely up to you. So we'll continue to do those kind of live sessions sometime in November and December. But as far as the Tempest is concerned, the scene by scene explanation is a done thing. Thank you very much for watching.